Whoever wishes to be great among you will be your servant. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. My brothers and sisters, I'd like to tie this homily in with the homily I gave last week and the gospel on which I preached last week. I'm sure you remember the gospel. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, but I'm sure you remember the gospel. Isn't it interesting? 4 times every 4 years, all these men and women come around us and they start preaching to us, and they get on their soap opera boxes and they promise us that they're going to give us so many things if we vote for them, if we follow them. They're going to give us all kind of good things, everything that we wish for. And it goes on for months and months and months. Your iPhone is ringing, ringing, ringing. Vote for us, we'll be your leader. And then in last week's gospel, we heard something from our leader. In this week's gospel, we hear something also from that same leader. So different than the leaders of this world who promise us all kind of things, all kind of empty promises. And what does our leader ask us to do? Last week, in case you forgot, he said, give up everything you have and give it to the poor. Now, we don't take that literally. But what kind of leader is telling us to do that? Take away all our comforts and be concerned about the poor. And then this week, that same leader, Jesus Christ from Nazareth, what does he say? What does he promise? You want to be great? Then serve one another. That's our leader. In her book, Einstein and the Rabbi, Rabbi Naomi Levy shares the following story. She was fast asleep one night when her phone rang just after midnight. In a daze, she woke up and she heard a man's voice quivering, Rabbi, Rabbi, my daughter Kate tried to kill herself. Kate was a bright-eyed Jewish young girl of 12 years old. She was studying with Rabbi Levy for her bat mitzvah. Rabbi Levy raced to the hospital, walked up to Kate, hugged her, and said, Kate, I'm here for you. Kate was in a locked psychiatric unit. And in the doorway stood a tall, muscular man with a police uniform on. He spoke harshly to Kate, as if she were a criminal. He said to her, now don't you try anything stupid here. I'm your guard. I'll be standing outside the whole time. And if you need me, you can call me. I'm your God. Remember that. Kate and the rabbi both were relieved when the barking officer left the room. Sometime later, there was a knock on the door. It was another guard. A new shift had begun. And the guard went toward Kate, sat on the edge of the bed, and spoke tenderly and compassionately to her. Hello, Kate. My name is Michael, and the good Lord has sent me to be your guardian angel. I'm here to watch over you, Kate, to make sure that you're safe from any harm. So don't worry, Kate. I'm here. And the rabbi didn't expect this stranger to be so gracious. And the guard got up and said, "Okay, Kate, I'm just outside of the door over there. You call me if you need anything. Remember, Kate, I'm Michael, your angel." That's what Jesus meant in the gospel today, to be of service to one another. Kate went home in a couple of weeks, went into therapy. She grew strong and confident, and now she is the mother of a little baby girl of her own. And so the two guards remained embedded in the rabbi's heart. The first man was doing his job, yes, we give him credit for that, but it was operating from a place of dominance and power. No compassion, no sensitivity. Michael came from a place of empathy and love and light. He saw his work as a divine calling. I am your angel. It really doesn't take much to brush your finger across the heart and the soul of another person. To be kind, to be Christ-like, to be sensitive, to be compassionate. Do we ever go out of our way to be a Michael? A minister in New York City, in one of his sermons, great idea he had, one of his sermons on charity said, if you want to get to heaven, you have to have a reference letter from a poor person which states that you assisted him or her when they were in need. There are so many great people. You know and I know, and the list could go on forever. Last Sunday night on 60 Minutes, Steve Ballmer, he made millions, hundreds of millions in Microsoft. He now owns the LA Clippers. He was interviewed. He was sharing how he started a nonprofit philanthropic organization, giving away millions and millions of dollars, especially to the youth in their programs. And he said, quote, "We people that have been blessed abundantly have an obligation to reach out and share. Every kid deserves a shot," he said. He also worked with Bill Gates at Microsoft, who also made hundreds of millions, and we know his story, how he's reaching out to the world. And if you followed him, how generous he is, and his intention, even on an interview, wants to give away everything before the good Lord calls him. It's good to remember also, in one of St. Peter's homilies, speeches to the people in Asia Minor, chapter 4, verse 8, above all, let your love for one another be intense, because love covers a multitude of sins. I said that, quoted that line to a young man who doesn't have many days to live, who has something to confess of his past life. And he said, wow, Father Joe, I never heard that scripture quotation before. My brothers and sisters, please excuse me for sharing a personal experience, but it is relevant to my theme this morning, It is relevant to the message of the gospel. Around the middle of July, when the temperatures were floating in the areas of 110, 115, I decided to go to a Subway shop to pick up something for lunch. When I left the shop, I noticed to my left a young girl, not even 20 years old, sitting on the concrete sidewalk in front of the shop. And even though her hair was disheveled, sweaty, soiled, her tired, sunburned, chubby face reminded me of a beautiful cherub angel from any one of Botticelli's paintings. She was wearing torn, greasy, stained jeans, protecting her grocery cart, full of her life's cherished belongings. You're familiar with these street people. So I approached her and I said, "Good morning. Would you like some lunch?" She gave me an affirmative, captivating smile. I invited her into the shop. She stood before the counter and ordered. The young man serving her was very kind and very gentle. I pointed to the potato chip rack. She asked, "Should I take one?" I smiled. Then I pointed to the refrigerated cold drinks. Again, she asked, "Should I take one?" And I answered, "Take two." Another wide smile and several tears rolling down her cheeks. I took her hand, held the door for her and said, "God bless you." And she couldn't control herself to say thank you. But her tears said it all. And even though her face was smudged and dirty, and she could have used a gallon of cologne, and tears running down her face, I wanted to embrace her, but I didn't want to embarrass her. You see, it really doesn't take much to gently brush your finger across the heart and soul of another. And so if you ever get the temptation to be like one of the apostles and looking for a special seat in heaven, remember what Jesus said. Whoever wishes to be great among you will be a servant. For the Son of Man did not come to serve, to be served, but to serve